the shops are great, but at least you're getting to the point where people are starting to realize that they need to service a independent neighborhood, and that should be their mission, is to say, what does my neighborhood want, rather than what does everybody want, or what does half of this valley want, or what do people coming in from LA want. And as soon as a coffee shop can sort of identify the needs of its own neighborhood, the people who kind of live here and commute here and work here, I think that's when it starts to take on an identity of its own. And so that's where Phoenix is right now, is it's starting to figure out shop by shop what its identity is.
Palabra simply started as a form of me expressing myself through different realms of creative notions. It first started just with doing hair, and then it followed with art. I started curating and hosting art shows on a monthly basis. It started more as just a form of inspiration. I was able to look at different forms of art and take different points of reference, from architecture to paintings, sculptures, poetry, literature. Like, it was me taking different points of reference from each form of art.
Having worked in the coffee culture for almost a year now here in Phoenix, I've seen, even in my time in coffee, a shift occur where people have gone from showing up and kind of demanding this idea of coffee that's like, they just want it fast, they don't really care so much about the way that it tastes, they kind of just want to dump some flavor maskers in it and then just like go on with their day. And I'm beginning to see people now really treat coffee with more respect. I see people come into my shop and they say, like, I want to taste the coffee that you're making. Like, how would you recommend me having it? And that's an amazing question for me as a barista, because I work with these coffees every single day. You know what I mean? I have an idea of this one tastes better when paired with milk. This one tastes better as a pour over. And it's amazing for me when a customer asks me, hey, how would you like it prepared? And then I can say, oh, this one I love as a Gibraltar, I'll prepare that for you the way that I would want it to prepare for myself. And I think that's really the beauty of where Phoenix coffee culture is going, is that it's just in that state where people are now beginning to just discover and beginning to learn that coffee is so much more than what they possibly could have imagined before.
I think, life's too short to drive boring cars, and I think, life's too short to, drink or eat anything that isn't of quality. I think quality is far more about the experience, and I think you're not just sipping your coffee for the energy or whatever it is and you're out, it's the ritual, it's the whole experience behind it.
I would say the coffee culture in Phoenix is really, it's on the rise. And I have so much hope with the introduction of new shops like Futuro and Fourtillfour opening up. These are shops that are really bringing not only really amazing product, but also an amazing aesthetic, an amazing customer service experience to the table. And I think that that's something that's really, really important, is pairing the product, which is the drink, and then also the experience, which is the cafe itself. And so, and when those two things come together, it's really is a thing of beauty.
Fourtillfour is a brand that I have been working on. It's a vintage automotive brand that is revolved around, classic motorsports, and it's revolving around, adventure. It's revolved around getting lost. It's revolved around working on your car, not just subbing it out. And so I think that story started probably over 10 years ago, the second I could drive. Fast forward to present time, now Fourtillfour is the community, it's the events, it's the cars, of course, it's the coffee that brings people together, and it's definitely a brand with many facets. So on the first Saturday of every month, we host a Porsches and Coffee, mainly vintage Porsches. It's become something a lot greater than that, so you'll see a lot of other types of classic cars, but it's still rooted in Porsches. The goal is to have every weekend some sort of car or bike meetup at Fourtillfour.
Well, Futuro is a specialty coffee shop that, it's pretty minimal from the menu to its seating area and all that, because I wanted people to come into the space and more or less like really be about the product and the stuff that we were serving more than the environment of like lounging out. Like I wanted people to come in and really conversate and spark that more than coming in here and camping out, more or less. I think when we first opened, there wasn't, you have all the classics that have been there, and they're kind of been the patriarchs of the coffee culture here. But I think when we opened, there wasn't that many like newcomers that really were making like kind of like a statement. But now you have several, which is really cool. To me, it's all about community. There's really no sense of like competition or anything like that. I don't see it that way. Like to me, it's if someone does something that's similar to ours, that's, to me, I take pride in. That's more of an inspirational thing than anything.
And I would love to see more shops embrace what is unique to Phoenix, whether it's the flavors or the people or kind of the culture. Like, I would love to see more of that folded into people's coffee programs.
I think the future of the coffee culture here in Phoenix is definitely on the rise. I see kind of, I was more or less in the past just a customer. I'd go to several coffee shops throughout the city. I'd have my favorites here and there, but now to be behind the scenes of things and be able to kind of say more of the insights of stuff, it's definitely on the up.
It's not like you have to be a certain age to enjoy it. You know what I mean? I can walk into a coffee shop and there can be teenagers and there can be elderly people sitting in the same place and both enjoying the same exact drink. And I think that that's something that's really amazing, is it brings people together in a way that nothing else really does. So yeah, I'd say more of that community-centered coffee culture is really going to be the future of coffee in Phoenix.